There are so many faces of grief. Grief is not just to mourn those that we have lost. Grief at its core is the loss of something, mourning the loss of something, right? That could be anything. That could be a job, a person, a version of yourself, objects, homes, things like that. Grief could be anything, right? And so grief has many faces. For me, I'm very passionate about healing ancestral grief, right? Grief that has been passed down. When we think about us within the African diaspora, specifically those that are descendants of enslaved Africans, we hold that grief of our ancestors, that grief of the lives that were lost at the hands of their masters, the grief and the mourning of fighting, and the just, I don't know, that program mindset. We're carrying that grief without even knowing it. It lives within our bodies subconsciously. And that passion and that drive, and those that are doing that advocacy and that liberation work, that grief lives within us. There's also collective grief. If you think about just everything that's been happening within the world and the fight for people that are oppressed or suffering at the hands of the government, we experience a sense of grief. We create these movements to help push forward out of collective grief, out of feeling the loss of not maybe people we don't know directly, but people that are suffering and witnessing it, which in a sense, secondhand trauma happens because you see I don't have the full words. I'm stumbling to come out, but that's what it feels like. It's like you're having secondhand trauma, seeing the suffering of other people, and then it turns into collective grief. Another one is then you have personal grief that happens directly to you, not grief. Grief that you personally experience in the instance of loss, directly contact with you. So loss of loved ones, relationships, things of that nature. So there's so many layers to it, and I want you to acknowledge that grief exists beyond mourning a loved one, because we need to hold space for ourselves while we're here in this earthly realm. And that's the way that we begin our healing process, is acknowledging that we are hurting and we're suffering from whatever this thing is that we lost. And we need to begin that healing journey, because I think so much we're trying to push past these things. It's normalized to grieve those that are no longer here, but I don't think it's normalized for us to grieve the loss of things, places, and situations, right? Like if you lived in a city for most of your life and you, for example, like I'm all over the place, but when I think about graduating high school and going off to college, I went to a completely different state, basically by myself. I had relatives there, but I was leaving the nest. Like I was grown up. I was raised with family. I had a full house of family, to going off and being by myself. There's an instance of grief in that transition. Grieving the life that I have, grieving the comfort of being in the home of family and feeling that support to this new rebirth version of myself. So I want us to normalize life transitions being a form of grief, so that we're able to acknowledge it, give ourselves grace, heal, and embrace that rebirth stage, so that we're able to really step into it, because we hold on to these things and these past versions of ourselves that cripple us and hold us back from what it is that we're supposed to do. But when we acknowledge it and bring language to it and provide space and grace for ourselves to process and heal, it changes everything. But if you need some support regarding grief, whether it's life transitions, mourning the loss of a loved one, I'm a deaf doula. You can check out my stuff. I'm going to put my website here, and drop any questions in the comments. I am so happy to answer, because I'm very passionate about this work.